This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, the Game Boy Geek here. Over the last recent months, when I keep a game, I do a Saxophone Serenade and I play my saxophone to it to induct it into my gaming library, because that was always the most asked questions as which games I kept. Well, now at the end of the month, I'm going to just give you a brief summary of all the games that I did those Saxophone Serenades for, which ones I kept that month. First one this month is Nautilus Industries. This is sort of a Euro-style stock game where you're going, it's an underwater theme where you're mining for different types of minerals, and depending on how you buy or sell these things, it fluctuates a certain commodity price and a stock price. It's a very simple mechanical game, but it's excellent. Great if you like economic or stock games. This is one of the better ones I've ever played. Next is Food Fighters. This is a two-player sort of family-style combative game where one's going to be the meat, the other one's going to be the vegetables, and you're trying to manipulate your guys in the rows to take out the other guys. And like the broccoli will hit the bacon, for example, and vice versa, and you're moving them around trying to get them to hit. You can put some cool things on them, like you can get spoons to arm them with and crackers for shields. Great thematic game, a lighter but definitely more depth than it looks from the artwork. Food Fighters, great two-player game. The Grizzled at your orders. I don't typically do expansions for Saxophone Serenades, but since the story of this is to honor the people that have lost their lives in the war, I did a special Saxophone Serenade on this one. This was the expansion for a popular co-op game called The Grizzled, which made it a lot better because you had certain more focus in the game, and you could ratchet up or down the difficulty with a lot more resolution. Wakan Tanka is a bluffing family-style game from Bruno Fedudi. It's very quick. It's like 15 minutes, 20 tops, plays up to 6 players, and it's really light bluffing, but it's quite a lot of fun. The next one is Barren. This is sort of an older, quote-unquote, I think it's a 2014 game from Kramer and Kiesling, a good duo designer couple there. And this is a Euro-style game that packs a lot of decisions in just a 60-minute game. So it's not very long, but it feels like you've played a full-length game afterwards. You're going down in the in the mine shafts and gathering different goods, and then you're bringing them up and distributing them in different ways. It is a worker placement style game, an excellent one at that. Next one is for Crown and Kingdom. This one is a really excellent for 2 players. 3 was good, 4 was not, but if you're looking for a tactical 2-player strategy game that takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play, excellent one there. And Animals on Board was a recent one from Stronghold Games. This is a very light family game. It was just recommended by the Spiel des Jahres nominees. It wasn't nominated, but it was recommended. Excellent family game where it's an I split you choose mechanic where there's all these animals and you're either splitting them and taking some food or spending exact change of food and taking a certain amount of animals, but you're trying to make sure you either have 1 animal or many animals, because if you have just 2, no one takes them. Excellent family game. The next one is probably would have been my game of my favorite of these of the month. This is the 2nd edition of Game of 49. Now, I had reviewed this in the past. This is the newest edition. They redid all the artwork, redid the components a little bit, made them better, because this is going into Target stores, 2,000 of them on June 18th, and I'm really excited about because I helped champion this game at the beginning of its life period. And this, I would say, it's a very fun family style. It's like Connect 4. You're just trying to get 4 in a row, but there's bidding aspects. And the more chips you get out there, when these wild cards come out, everyone gets paid out depending on the amount of chips. So it's a good balance between how many chips am I putting out? Am I going to be conservative? Or am I going to put a ton out and hope I get a bunch of payouts? Amazing, excellent family game. This would have been my favorite of the month, but I kind of disqualify it because I've already reviewed the game in the past and it was sort of already in my library. This is just the newer version. The next 2 are pretty much tied for my favorites of all these. The first one is Jarek. This is a trick-taking game that has a board with an area control. It's being brought over by a different publisher, but it's a Taiwanese publisher, and it's amazing. It's simple. It's about 30 to 40 minutes. And man, there's a lot of depth. You're playing a card, but every time you play a card, you get to take an action that does something on the board. And at the end of the rounds, different areas give you different points. It's amazing. And that one's sort of tied with 13 Days the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is think of like Twilight Struggle in a 30-minute game, 30 to 45 minutes, but it adds even more information, like a lot of hidden information, a lot of bluffing. It is an excellent game. It's a card-driven game like Twilight Struggle or 1960 Making of the President, but it does in such a short, streamlined manner, and the historical aspect of all the cards is amazing. So Jarek with 13 Days are sort of my favorites. If I had to choose and you twisted my arm, I'd probably lean just to 13 Days just because I love historical themes and all the cards, and it comes with a rule book that talks specifically about the theme and what each card had to do with the history of the events. Well, those were the Saxophone Serenades for May. We'll see you next month.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter and making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.